Good morning, it's Vaughan at westcoatbellpottery.ca in Nova Scotia, Canada, and it's actually a really pretty morning. This is my first glaze firing and it's July 14th. So I do a tray so you can scrape your knife with butter on it. So that is very nice for people using this for butter. There you go. Little same dish in blue. This will just come out, just my hand on that one, with a little bird on top. I was out of butter dishes, now I have some. They come right out. A whale again. We're on the ocean, people love whales here, they go whale watching. And of course all the pieces I sign with black underglaze on the bottom of the pieces. If there was any reduction in this kiln, this is blue, green, copper, red, which would go that reddish cranberry color, sang de boeuf they call it. But this is a really nice turquoise. Two more. I like to make 6 of something when I do it, so there should be 6 of these in this kiln, but this turned out perfect. Oh look, there's a little bleaching out. That's because when this glaze will go gray before it goes red. So just a touch of bleaching there. And that's Tenmuku Gold over Apple Green. Sort of went a little metallic, but it's nice. That's the sort of transparency you can see there. Another bird. One of these is actually on order for someone. Now all these layers that are close together are all whales because I sold my entire stock of whales. It's only halfway through July, so I just said for a couple of days I did nothing but make the whales and fish. So, and there was one tray left over from a video I did a long time ago on how to make spontaneous purchase items, and that was the tray that was left over. But we have a whole bunch of whales coming out of now. Oop, the squirrels here. One more. I think this one somebody wanted to buy, but I'm not sure. We got 2 there. 2 squirrels chasing each other. Yep. Hear that? Squirrels fighting, I think. The back of the kiln, cone 7 is way down. This is a true cone 7. A couple of nice blue whales. I can see those on somebody's wall. Down, up. This is the one that was somebody's asking for this one, so. That's a mink chasing a squirrel. And the squirrels run up the tree and the mink is chasing him. The squirrels are fast, so he'll just leap into another tree. Wow, that was just ran right by here. Minks are nasty too. I had to take a look, so I took a couple of minutes and walked around it. I can't see the mink, but one of the squirrels, oh, there's the other squirrel just there. So there's two squirrels here, and they're both in like hide mode because there's a mink somewhere around here trying to get hold of them. Wow, life on the edge. There's a lot of functional things in the back of this kiln as well as these whales. So, a whale. And there's a lot of movement in the whales I've just been doing as well. We've got some more coming out. Wow. I think the squirrel just ran along the ramp. There you go. It's a different one, but I got a little bit more action in this guy. Once again, a lot more action. I've been trying to get more movement in them. You know, somebody bought 7 the other day, which is why I was wiped out considerably. And now they're going to do a pod on the wall, so I think that will look really good if you can. But they didn't get any of these, and I think these would be super on that. Okay, for anybody that's bored with whales, that's the last one. And all that. So. And this one actually may be the one that's on order because she had a specific tail down and a big belly. So that's the order. And then we have a bunch of experiments. How'd you like that? That's very pretty. That's just pouring glaze. So, and this has a little bowl to go with it. And it's like a chip and dip. Seeing that one though. And there's another one. That's it though. But that's a nice whale. That's one I've never done that shape before. This one I've done before. But bottom of the kiln was a cone lower, and the turquoise liked it much better. So this was the jar that goes on top of it, and it's not bad. I mean, this one you can't see any sharp pinholes there. There's a few craters that you can barely see. So cone 7 it will still work, but I think it likes a real cone 6, and that's making it very happy. Yeah, one of these in here. I think this is the last one of those planters. Really blue, and they were running, so I rubbed the glaze off that little area because in the other planters, 2 of them, the glaze had filled it in, and so I should make a bigger hole. I guess that's the clue. This is a piece by Jackie using the clear glaze that I have going to cone 6. And that's really pretty. I think she's going to be very happy with that. She has a friend staying with her at the moment, Monica Wellington, who does children's books, if anybody knows Monica. Same glaze on both of these. This one I had to grind a little off the edge of the handle there, where it sagged down a bit. So it'll take 20 seconds to do that. But this is Tenmoku Gold, Bright Blue, and Oatmeal. And there's more blue on that one, obviously. But they're the same glazes. Just inside a little bit on the shelf, the same glazes again. So on the center of the shelf, these pieces stay a little bit more textural with the oatmeal. But you got a little bit of blue showing through there, but look at the other side. Really matte. So the glaze like to go matte likes to be in the center of the shelf, maybe where it cools slower, so that you actually get more crystals forming. And the same glaze is Tenmoku Gold, Bright Blue, and Oatmeal. Bright Blue, Variegated Blue, and Oatmeal. He's very happy down there. This is a real cone 6. It was maybe 5 degrees lower than a true cone 6, but really close. These 2 are on order. Somebody wanted Variegated Blue and Blue, Green, Copper, Red on top. They're perfect. I think they'll be happy. Another one of the Bright Blue, Variegated Blue, and Oatmeal. This one is Matte Turquoise, Bright Blue, and Apple Green. All on the same piece. I don't usually do that, but we just wanted to try it. Blue, Green, Copper, Red, and Apple Green on top. But it could be Matte Turquoise. Yeah, probably Matte Turquoise. And then Blue, Green, Copper, Red, and Matte Turquoise again. Here is the top for that other piece, which I have here. So we have another whale jar. Hi, Karen.
Hey, bye.
There you go. On this one, you've got the little prop in there. Comes out easy. So we've got. I was keeping this one for a while. Tenriku gold, bright blue, and where did the oatmeal go? That's surprising, because there is oatmeal in there, but it's completely faded off. Really nice piece. So this, halfway up the kiln, is somewhere between cone 6 and 7, and it loved that temperature, didn't it? Dark blue, which I'm not happy with very often at all, and it actually likes to, it doesn't like glazes that go over the top of it very much. So that was the rim of the pot. It completely, there it is on the outside, and on the inside it released almost completely and made this really amazing kind of minimalist abstract shape and all that, and I bet that will sell. You know, it's almost like the Japanese kind of just brush around kind of thing very quickly. But that's my dark blue. Somebody ordered this, so this is actually going, there's a whole set of blue pieces basically. Here's a couple of yellow that we haven't seen yet, but they were in the firing that you'll see after this one's unloaded. A very cute little bud balls. And here's the one for that. Here's one with a little gusto. There's another one here. So 2 more whales. And I don't see any more whales, so that's the last little whale. So we have a bunch of these. I think I have, there must have been 20 there I've counted. This cone 7 area on the top now, remember. And there are some craters in the Tenriku at the bottom. How are they sharp? Nope, they're smoothed over. So that's fine then. But lovely. Tenriku gold, bright blue, and oatmeal. With some tea dust, as they call it, speckling out. And this one has that little cranberry that I add just as elements of like focus and interest. Don't use much of this because I'm pretty sure it's too overpowering if you use a lot of the cranberry. It's in mastering cone 6 glazes. They call it cranberry, I think. Stilts just fall off, don't they? Bright, dark blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal. And there's the bright blue. This was a good firing for blue. And there's the matte turquoise. This always looks nice when it does that. That's variegated blue and oatmeal over matte turquoise. And we got the bright blue over, no, variegated blue over the top of dark blue. There's some more of these in the next firing that's in the rest of this video. So I have a set of those noodle bowls. And there's the matte turquoise dark blue with a bit of, I think, either oatmeal or apple green on the top. Another yellow mug, another lotion pump. This one has some craters on it. I might refire that one by dipping oatmeal over the whole thing. Another bright blue bowl. This, I sell these constantly. This is a good combination, but that's the cranberry just enough so that you see it without being overpowering. Another bright blue mug. I can see 2 squirrels still feeding at the back, so they managed to escape the mink. I guess the mink was surprised to see me standing here. Light ring. Chun green, and I think it had variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. And then another yellow with apple green. Bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal. Coming over dark, we might be having some rain coming in. It's supposed to rain for a couple of days at the moment. The garden will love it. The garden is doing so well this year. Tenmaku Gold, Variegated Blue and Oatmeal, matte turquoise, and there's craters on this. So the matte turquoise is the glaze that doesn't like cone 7. So in other words, put it down the bottom in future. I'll show you what I did to the kiln that I'm playing with at the end of the video. Because you're using live gas, as it were, it's very easy to change just a subtle thing, and the flame gets redirected somewhere else. And you can change the entire atmosphere of the kiln and also the temperatures it gets. That's a nice one of the blue ones too, so there are 4 of these. Another chun green, I'm beginning to like this a lot. Apple green, variegated blue I think, or matte turquoise looks good over it too. Now down the bottom of the kiln, the matte turquoise is doing good, so it just doesn't like cone 7. Nice one. Really nice little bud balls. And this is for that shop in Halifax, Nova Scotia, that called Atlantic News Halifax, that I do on the bottom. He wanted happy summer colors. Another one of the noodle bowls. When I fire on stilts, this one collapsed a little bit. It'll come off and I can just sand off. There'll be a little sharp bit there, which I can sand off. But the stilts, when they do that, you can sometimes straighten them with a pair of pliers. But you just have to make sure when you put the pot on them that they're not too heavy for the stilt. And this one, it was such a small base, I had no choice, or wipe the glaze off. I'd already signed it, so I thought, I'll just put a stilt in it. It did collapse, but I got lucky. Bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal. This one was fine. Bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal. And this one is matte turquoise, apple green, and I think there's a little touch of oatmeal on the bottom there. And then I fire inside collars, which these are called plant protectors, and there are 3 bud vases on the inside of them. Okay, so we got those bud vases in here. I just had a customer, so I had to stop. So I fire them inside other pots, and that way you can use up all the space basically. Put little bud vases. And these are my plant protectors for the garden, which is a little extravagant, I guess, because you could just cut up a plastic pot. But I've noticed the weed whacker rips the plastic pots apart. And this is meant to be for a protection against weed whacking when you plant a bush. You can have 2 bushes planted close together with enough space in between for the weed whacker twine to go around, and then you could be constantly keeping your garden free of weeds without worrying about weed whacking the actual $30–40 bush. And that's a very shiny Tenmaku Gold for a gas kiln. Got the nice oatmeal flecks, and then you got the little matte turquoise and apple green again. That one I fired on stilts, same Tenmaku Gold with variegated blue and oatmeal. This will look pretty in the garden, won't it? That color around the bottom of a bush. And there's the actual bright blue one as well. So I made 8 of these, and I'll probably make another 8, maybe another 24 actually, because I've got 24 bushes altogether to plant. And you put these around the first season, and then the second season you can still get them out without damaging these and use them again. If you let the bush get too big for these, then obviously you're never going to get it off. But just the first season the bush doesn't usually grow that much, and the second season it's actually so thick with the stem that you don't need to worry about weed whacking as much. Probably the coolest spot of the kiln, I think. But everything looks really nice. Variegated blue noma. This is the one that's an order. I made 3 for her to pick her choice from. Bright blue. The sun's coming out now. Another bright blue and Tenmaku gold. These are, I've had a lot of these come out, didn't say. They're all lotion pump bottles. And another tiny little bud vase with some chattering on that one. Plant protectors there. These are the lotion pump bottles. Another little bud vase, a little crawling on that one. I might have to refire that one. Lotion pumps, yellow and apple green. And the matte turquoise just likes that cone 6. Nothing hotter than cone 6. Maybe 5 degrees below cone 6 by the look of it. And there's another one, because there's no craters on them when you go that. It's only when you go a bit above that they get hotter. The bubbling that I got, I don't have it here, I took it inside, or maybe that one. So these ones are when you're getting a little hotter than cone 6. So matte turquoise, keep it just under cone 6, maybe 5 degrees under. Lovely apple green. That's just straight apple green. Bright blue. Blue, green, copper, red. Absolutely perfect. And this I didn't glaze the board. This is going to be sunk in the soil a little bit anyway. But I take them out before the winter. So the first season they protect the plants and take them out before the winter. I must have about 30 or 40 of these for my garden. And that's it for the actual kiln. Now I'm going to show you what I've been doing to actually, which is why I've been fiddling and getting some changes. Okay, this is the baffle brick for the gas kiln, and the flame comes along there, and I just blocked up that small little piece of fire brick that I have sitting between the shelf here, and that's the little bit of fire brick that I pushed in there to stop the flame from escaping between the baffle brick and the shelf and actually heating up the bottom too much. So this firing, I put that little bit of fire brick in there, and it actually stopped the flame too much, so it was staying too cool on the bottom. So now I'm going to cut that bit of fire brick down, and then the flame can come through a little bit more. So here's the other side. You can see down there I blocked up that little gap, so I'm going to unblock it about halfway there as well. And then I can get the bottom a little hotter, I think, and even the kiln temperature out. This is opposite the kiln here, looking over to the artworks building. As you can see, things are looking pretty good in the garden, and it rained a lot last night as well. This is a big gas kiln unloading. I did one 4 or 5 days ago, and then this is the second one in a row, because I had a lot of pieces ready, and I've been experimenting because I replaced my baffle brick. So the first firing, it was really hot on the bottom, and it was colder on the top, and took a long time to get it sort of evened out, and it never was completely, but it was okay. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do a fiddling and try and get it to even out. And this firing, it was hot on the top and colder on the bottom. So I've got to go a compromise in there, and I'll show you what I mean. But when you're playing with kilns, it's good to have a couple of extra thermocouples. And I bought this for about $125. So I drilled a couple of extra holes here in the front of the kiln, and I've got these little thermocouples that go in at 2 levels. If this can reach a little bit, this is the actual little readout. So you turn it on, and it gives you T1 top and T2 bottom. So and then it gives me T1, T2, and tells me the difference between those 2 areas. There's 10 degrees centigrade difference between the top and the bottom in this one at the moment. So the top is actually hotter than the bottom by 10 degrees. But you can tell each level as well, and that's excellent, because my big thermocouple, which you can see going in the back of the kiln there with that white wire, basically that one is just telling me the temperature right above the burners in the back. It doesn't tell me at all what the front's doing, and then these two do. So even if you've got a big electric kiln, this might help, unless you've got one of those 3 thermocouple electric kilns computers. That's great. Anyway, but that's a nice thing to get yourself if you need one, especially if you're doing things like raku. That would help too. It looks good. Here we go. I don't see anything immediately horrible, because this was really hot. Cone 7 is completely over. What's the bottom doing? Cone 6 was not even fully over. So it was almost 6 at the bottom, but it was cone 7 at the top. So we were full cone difference. That's about 25-30 degrees difference. But things look okay. It's good to use cones, double check and everything. These were orders. I don't usually do these shapes, but these were orders for people. She wanted one. I've made about a dozen for her to pick from. Is this hot? Using those stamps that I just made, which you can look at the video about 2 videos back, where we made those stamps. I've got 7 of these stamps now, and it's just a roller stamp. You just roll it over your slab and put the slab over a little styrofoam hump mold, which is free. It's a very quick and very nice looking little tray here you can make for your spontaneous purchases at shows. I'm going to show you how to glaze some of those as well. That's a video coming up. Alright, so let's have a look at what else we have. Oh, it's not too hot at all. That's good. So this lady told me she wanted greeny blues on the top with oatmeal on the bottom. So that's what the instructions were, and I think I've got that. It looks pretty good. I use strontium crystal magic a little bit on these, so we'll see if there's any difference. And I was doing them apple green, blue, strontium crystal magic. Sometimes one or the other was on the top with another one in between, so it was lots of mixed up, so I have no clue which is which. I think, obviously this one was with the blue on top, and this one was probably, the green is probably on the bottom, and then the strontium crystal magic maybe was on top on that one, because it's very pretty. Just my regular oatmeal on the bottom. But if I feel like these are actually something I'm going to do more of, which I think I will, I'll take notes and see what happens when you do the different ones on. This was a definitely an oxidation firing, because I blasted air in it the whole firing. There was also a little bit of flaking. Strontium crystal magic tends to be a little flaky, and the blue, which has ghostly borate in it, that's very pretty. Anyway, the blue tends to flake too, but these are all perfect. Same 3 glazes, different layering, different sequence, I guess you would say. This one had blue on first, I think. It's hard to know, I won't say which. But look how far that one ran down. So that one is what happens when you add strontium crystal magic. It makes things run a lot. Yep. The oatmeal's a little thin in places, but I think that kind of has an attractiveness to it anyway. Firing on stilts, so I can glaze the rim all the way around. And this glaze has cratered a little bit, but it's not sharp. But it definitely probably didn't like going up to cone 7. But it's really, you can see the little faint little craters, but they're smoothed over. Because the kiln cools very slowly in gas. So let's see if this comes out. Usually with this I tap it and it will fall out. And then you take a little bit of emery paper and just rub it in there to get rid of the sharpness. Same with this one. I think it'll come out. Yep, comes out. A cheese dish or a butter dish, whatever you want to use it for. Here's some apple green again. I just recorded a bit where I forgot to turn the camera on, so there are a few pieces you missed there, but basically they were just little vases. some more grey pieces. And the purple wasn't in the bit that I didn't have the camera turned on, and it turned out good in the gas kiln. But the yellow is really nice this time. It's I think maybe it likes going a little hotter. Lots of mugs coming out of this firing. We just had some yellow ones. I'll show you them again because I keep forgetting to turn the camera on. There you go. Those are nice. We saw one of those earlier in the video. I've got some really pretty ones coming up. Dark blue, matte turquoise, variegated blue, and oatmeal over both. Nice little drinking glass. And a really pretty little bud vase. Another one of the weeds. Now what we missed when I was I forgot to turn the kiln on. This piece came out and it is beautiful on the inside, and then on the bottom it's stuck to the kiln shelf. And that's the Tenmaku that I said right when I saw that first piece that Tenmaku was going to be overfired. And this was on a regular nitride bonded kiln shelf, which glaze still sticks to that shelf. But I can maybe sand that a little bit and keep it for myself. But no, I'll throw it out. This one came out excellent. Bright blue, variegated blue, and oatmeal, and it was fine. And this is Tenmaku Gold, right next to the one that ran. This one didn't run. Isn't that funny? The kiln gods. Gosh. I ran out of these, so I made some more. They're little planters that hang on a wall, and you just sort of screw them to the wall. And they got a little tray, so you could use them indoors as well. So, and I always put a thick piece where I'm going to put the screw so I can screw tight without it cracking the clay. I also didn't have any bird feeders. I ran out of bird feeders. It's early in the season, so I made some more of these. Another one. They just brighten up the garden when people are looking around, because I have a very pretty garden and people like to walk around. They take photographs of themselves in the garden. Tenmaku Gold. No runs. What are we up to? Nice. It worked out very pretty. But this has a tray, so the glaze ran down onto the tray a little bit, but it didn't fill up the holes. I always put 3 holes in these feeders because the birds pull the food out and it gets in there, and then the water builds up and makes it all yucky. So I put holes in so the water can drain right out. Another planter to hang on the wall. Another one here. Blue, green, copper, red with matte turquoise and bright blue, variegated blue, and matte turquoise. Yellow, apple green with a bit of bright variegated blue on the bottom. Blue, green, copper, red with matte turquoise. There's some nice chattering on that. Be very plain without that chattering. Oh, and here's the last one of those mugs. I had 2 of that green. I'm not sure because he wanted bright colors, but green is a bit summery anyway. Chun green with apple green and oatmeal over the top. Another bird feeder, bright blue, matte turquoise, and where they overlap you get some variation. And then you've got variegated blue with oatmeal over the top. Bright blue, and see that line? That's where the variegated blue over the bright blue and the oatmeal kind of match, and you get this amazing line going around. Looks like it was drawn on there, and matte turquoise on the bottom. Now, a while back I did some experiments with slips on stoneware clay, which I was then going to hand paint glaze into the areas to do some variations on bowls that I'd never done before. And I took some out of the kiln, a couple of experiments. I can't remember if I highlighted those or not, but I think I did. But these ones I just did, and let's see. Crazy. The slip trailing is sort of gone, and the glazes that I put over the top have kind of hidden everything. The outside of the ball is really pretty, but there's slip trailing in there, and you don't see it. It's got some really interesting color combinations, but I don't think that one worked. This one did work. So you can see the slips with the glazes. So I have a feeling, you know, that one's very subtle, but at least we can see the slips, and they contribute to the overall quality of the bowl. So these are experiments with slip trailing and doing glazes over the top to try and complement each other. Sunny. There you go. This one I like. It's kind of a bit abstract painting going on here. Who says I'm not an abstract painter? My wife watches a lot of abstract painting tutorials on YouTube, and she paints very figuratively, so it's an interesting. Trailing shows through, the glaze colors enhance the slip trailing, and you've got some looseness with the Tenmoku gold there, just brushed across the top, and you've got some gold flecks in it, which is really nice. If you look close up, if I hold it still, you kind of see the colors. It's experiments. But then we've got a bunch of regular pieces that I do where I always experiment anyway. Blue, green, copper, red, variegated blue, and oatmeal. That's nice. I like that one. Simple. I have done this bowl before, but I don't have any left. So I just made another one. We've got a little crawling going on there too. So this might have to go back in this firing. I just dab a little glaze right there and then it'll be gone. Oh, and there's a tiny dot there. I wonder why that happened. Time on this one. You know, the crawling happens a lot when you've got glazes with ghostly borate in them, because it thickens up so much in the bucket, and you have to thin it down, but it doesn't always work with thickening. You can use glaze thinner, that will probably work. But that's the reason Randy's red gets cracks and crawls sometimes, and this blue glaze has a lot of ghostly borate in it, and guess what, there's no more ghostly borate, so maybe we'll all not have to suffer this anymore. That's rich. Another experiment. Matte turquoise and bright blue. These are all like little soap dispensers for the cork type. And there's another vase in the variegated blue, and I think I had maybe mouse grey and oatmeal over that one. That's a pretty little noodle bowl. Very happy. And here's one that's kind of the Cove Landscape series, which I have trouble pouring the glaze around inside a bowl when it's so small, because you have to hold a cup and pour like this, and it's very difficult to do. But that's a different one too. I'm not sure I'm kind of happy with that, but it's just because it's so hard. You can use a slip trailer, which is what I did I think in the end with these, and squirt the glaze in there. People have been asking me for little bud vases because it's spring, summertime. And very blue, green, copper, red, and matte turquoise. Matte turquoise over the yellow, actually. That's quite pretty. That's blue and apple green over the yellow. Same here. It's another one of those little noodle bowls. Apple green, yellow edge, and variegated blue on the bottom. That has amazing crystals. basically mouse gray, variegated blue, and oatmeal. More crawling. And that's the bright blue on the rim again with that ghostly borate stuff. So I got to touch up that a lot with some more bright blue. They stopped doing the ghostly borate because it was becoming very inconsistent, and I think that's part of the problem. It's it just had too much clay in it or something, so it makes it crawl. Now we've got another noodle ball. There's a little bit missing now after that refire. There's a lot of refires in here. I've got about half a dozen of them. It's got 150 pieces in it, so I guess you have to accept some. They're pretty. Blue, green, copper, red, and matte turquoise, and matte turquoise and apple green. These are all the same. Apple green, blue interior, variegated blue on the bottom, which has gone a sort of grayish. Variegated blue is not variegated blue in the gas kiln. I remember now. It sort of goes a sort of brown. Same again. So there should be 4 of these. At least there's no crawling on those ones. Those are noodle balls with the kind of Cove series again. More of them here. At least there's no crawling on them. And bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal, the usual. Lots of texture with the chattering tools there. Nice coffee mug, bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal. A lovely little bud balls, matte, apple green and yellow overlapping. Ding ding, must be dinner time. 2 dark blue mugs with variegated blue and oatmeal over the top. Bright blue, variegated blue and oatmeal, and a nice purple with some variegated blue over the top of that. More crawling. I swear I did the blue over the top of the other glazes. The most successful one in those experiments, I think. I think they might be considered an acquired taste. But you can see the slip trailing through the glazes, and that was my aim. Two more little bud vases, purple and variegated blue, and mouse gray, variegated blue and oatmeal. And that one ran right the way down but didn't stick to the kiln shelf. Same mouse gray, variegated blue and oatmeal, and this is purple, variegated blue and oatmeal. Green, variegated blue, gray, variegated blue. We've seen lots of these. I must have done quite a few. 2 more dark blues. I didn't do many light blues, but that's a nice lotion pump for the old style with the plastic glue on tops, which sanitizer actually makes those come loose. So you have to tell people not to use sanitizer with them. Blue, green, copper, red, and matte turquoise. That's really nice. And then oatmeal on the bottom. And the last one for the shop in Halifax. That's sort of bright. And then we've got 10 liquid gold, and it didn't run. Yep, and there's some bright blue and oatmeal over the top. Chun green and variegated blue and matte turquoise. That's a very pretty one of these. And then the apple green and the yellow. And I may have done some variegated blue, but I think it's just apple green and yellow. Finally, a couple more bird feeders. And so that's dark blue, bright blue, and matte turquoise. Matte turquoise and variegated blue on that one. And I rub the glaze off these and just dab another color over them to make them stand out a bit more. Just a slightly decorative element. So I'm not thrilled with the firing, but I think it's got some really nice pieces, and there's a lot of standard stuff in here, so it was decent. But I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 refires from crawling, mostly because of the bright blue. So I'm going to thin the bright blue down. Thanks for joining me. This is Paul on westcoastbellpottery.ca, Nova Scotia, Canada. Come visit. Lots of people have been recently.